Okay, today's video, we're going to talk about what's the best YouTube campaign type, subtype, and objective to be running for your YouTube campaigns here in 2023 and going and beyond. The reason for making this video is Google has made some changes to YouTube in their setup of the campaigns recently that have thrown many users off track. It's not like it used to be. If you don't know what you're doing, it's very, very easy to have your campaign just blow up, waste all your money. You got nothing for it, okay? For one, choosing, and this goes into the campaign objective. So when you go to set up a YouTube campaign, it asks you, first thing you got to do is Google's gonna ask you, what is the objective that you want? Is it leads? Is it sales? Is it website traffic? Is it for awareness? And with that, if you choose leads or sales as a campaign objective type, you'll automatically get you on the display network. Okay? Did you know that? Well, now you know, if not. And with that, the display network is not what you want. You were there, presumably, to get your ads on YouTube, right? Or that's what most people think. Well, they're not paying attention and they don't select what I'm going to recommend to you, brand and awareness as your campaign objective. You're going to get on the display network, which display network is websites outside of YouTube, millions and millions of websites that Google has a partnership with, where basically anytime you see banner ads on a website, most of the time that's going to be done through Google Adsense, which Google Adsense is a revenue sharing program that Google has with websites, so that through Google Ads and display network ads, you can advertise on those websites without knowing those owners of those websites directly. And so, whereas display network can work in the situation where you're trying to run video campaigns, it's very tough to get video ads outside of YouTube to work, because generally speaking, if you just think about it, a banner ad, like a little skyscraper ad or a square ad that you typically see, that has everything in there, or if you're doing it right anyway, for you to understand what the offer is without having to click anything or do anything. A video ad on the Google Display Network, which Google used to call Unstream ads, the video would play with no sound, and maybe that can get the user's attention, but for most videos, if you have no sound, it's not going to convert. So you're going to pay essentially for your ad to show up, and technically you don't pay if somebody doesn't click on your ad, but the lower the click-through rate on your ad, or rate in which your ad gets clicked out of 100 or 1,000, the higher your cost per click to your website is going to go. So having your ad there for most videos, unless they're specifically catered to be on the display network, where your video ad will show typically in a spot where a banner ad would show, which is what you're getting with your video ads running on the display network. Unless it's made specifically to get the user's attention visually, which you can click a button to hear the audio still, but of course they have to click on it, and barely anybody does that. Your ad's not going to work, okay? Whereas a banner ad will work. For remarketing purposes, or basically advertising to somebody who's already left your site, having your ads on the display network is okay. For most of the time, we'll just say. But to get new users, to go after somebody who's never seen or heard of your brand, basically, to keep it simple, to get your video ad on the display network there, to get that to work and have the ads pay for themselves after all your expenses and the cost of the ads and all that, it's very difficult to do. And at the very least, you don't want to start out doing that, because for most of you guys, it's not going to be profitable after, and get you enough sales after expenses to justify doing that. So anyway, to get around it, you have to choose the campaign objective type. Like I said, brand and awareness is exactly what it's called. When you go to set up your campaign, your YouTube campaign, that's not the only thing you have to do. And this is the sole reason why I made this video today, because there's enough people screwing up on this, and it's big enough of a screw up, so to say. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't catch it, you'll never make money with your campaigns and just think YouTube ads don't work. You have to go to once you got your campaign started, you set it up. The first thing you're going to do after you've selected brand and awareness as the objective type on your YouTube campaign or your video campaign, we'll just say. It's a video campaign. It's not a YouTube campaign, because video campaign can go, just like I said, outside of YouTube as well. But presumably you're just wanting on YouTube. So you set up the campaign with brand and awareness. Then you have to go to the settings menu from within that video campaign, and you're going to click on networks within the settings menu, then uncheck video partners on the display network, which gets you off of the display network, so to say, or if you want to also say just on YouTube, not the display network as well. And so you not only just have to choose and got to know, this is where people are getting thrown off. Like I said, you have to know to choose brand and awareness, but you have to make sure to also uncheck this. And on top of that, if you're saying, well, why do you have to click brand and awareness? Well, you might be saying, Corey, I need conversion, so I'm going to click leads as the objective type, not brand and awareness. Well, and this is the catch here, so to say. If you choose leads or sales as the objective type, when you go to uncheck video partners on the display network within the settings menu there and under network, the box will just be grayed out, forcing you in essence to do display network if you've chosen leads or sales as the campaign objective when setting up that video campaign. So that's very key to know if you're going to make money. And that's one way to not have your campaign make money before you even start it. Anyway, beyond that, just some other comments here. Display network only works for mass scale products mainly, or like I mentioned, remarketing. If you have something that basically 1% of the market out there, 1% of the population in general out there could buy, whether that's product or service, doesn't matter, you could do the display network, because chances are with Google's testing and getting on the display network, the display network can be a good ad to get somebody who doesn't know anything about your brand or products or services yet to catch that ad and have it be relevant enough. But when you're talking about like 0.00001% of the population is in the market for your product or service, which is what 99% of you guys probably are that watching this channel are doing, of course, then with that said, you don't want the display network, because basically what happens is if you set up the video campaign with leads or sales as the campaign objective, Google's going to randomly kind of test on the display network specifically even which of these placements on these millions of websites outside of YouTube your video ad there with no sound is going to be on. And their computer script that's going to do trial and error, it's great when they have lots of data, i.e. lots of conversions, and people that converted before, what traits they have to know other people, what other people are, what is the subset of people that you can target on this display network you should go after, looking at customers or leads you've had in the past. And so, respectively, when you don't have much data starting out, when you're just starting out that campaign, they're trying anything and everything, and you may not even get any sales before your budget's gone or your money's gone. That's what I want to prevent for you to do. If you get over 1,000 and probably 10,000 conversions, and when I say conversions, I'm talking about sales, not just leads for the most part, because a sale is a sale is a sale. A lead, you might be getting all shitty leads or bot leads, which is common when you run ads in display network, and I've made videos about that before. So, respectively, their machine learning process that can get you different placements of your video ad there on different websites on the display network, it might actually work okay, as long as you have enough customers for them to look at that worked in the past, and so therefore, you have a lot of running that campaign before it could ever have a chance to break even, because Google's algorithm needs data to know how to run that campaign properly for you. Respectively, if you had a lookalikes campaign and you were targeting lookalikes of customers on customers that you've already picked up using your conversion pixel on other campaigns that you've ran going years back or whatever, and you had 10,000 customers there, and then you had a look, which then would populate in the audience targeting a lookalikes of your customers, you could potentially do display network and have it work that way. But in general, if you're going to do the Google Display Network, start off not doing the display network. Get that working first so you don't blow through your whole money wad right away. And once you get that working, set up another campaign that goes after display network as well. Set that budget up for like 10% of the budget of the original one, which you're just going to reinvest some of your profit into getting that working, and see if you can expand what you're doing even further with the display network. And that's your general that's my philosophy for doing any of these new things with PPC. You don't just, in business, we're trying to minimize cost, minimize risk. And when we can start out doing the things that are the most sure to work first, that's just smart business. And from there, though, we're trying to take bets that have, if I bet $1, I can get at least $10 return. You want those kind of bets because that's how you grow the revenue of your company, making those bets. You'll lose a bunch, but if you can just get 1 out of 15 to work, well, now you have something that's going to, of course, bring in revenue long term for your company because you figured out something new that works. And so therefore you can try display network with your video ad there, and maybe that works. Probably it won't, but maybe it will work. And it's another way to add additional traffic streams, customers and business going through your website that you didn't have before. So generally though, works for mass scale products because of the issue. Like I said, you're usually doing better with a display ad for targeting new people, just from the aspect that the video has no sound. But nothing's for sure in PPC. It can potentially work depending on your market. Mostly if you sell something it's a general mass market product and therefore not going after a super niche audience, respectively, okay? Or have really good targeting from a lot of past conversions you had on a pixel, that kind of thing. Before you try, though, also the Google Display Network with your videos, I recommend you trying the so-called search results option first. So in other words, having your video ad show up in the search results on YouTube. So in other words, if I'm typing in life insurance companies or what's the best life insurance to buy, let's say, just type that in the search bar on YouTube. I'm sure you've seen it, and if not, you can go search for yourself real quick. The first 3 things you see are ads. And so if you do the search results option, which you're going to find that in the same settings and then networks, where you're going to uncheck the video partners on the display network, they have search results as another option. So technically in that menu, there's search results, YouTube videos, and then display network. YouTube videos is checked by default. And so with that, you get to decide if you want your video on search results as well and the display network as well. And before you do display network, like I said, the search results is generally going to work better and easier and quicker. Therefore, if you're going to do some experimentation, start with the search results first. Why? Because A, it's a Google property. Any ads that we've run on Google properties, Gmail, and on YouTube just work better because they're able to police click fraud a lot more. And this is a controversial topic, but a lot of websites out there have a lot of bot traffic. They got people, clicking their own ads and stuff like that. Respectively, it's hard to get display network to work because of that kind of thing. But on Google's properties, they do a really good job of not having that. Therefore, there's no click fraud. It's easier to get your ads to work. And I, myself, would rather go and advertise if I'm going to do PPC outside of regular search advertising. I'm going to try to go to Google properties first because of that exact reason. No click fraud. And respectively with that, On top of that, we have the benefit of the fact that our ad on YouTube will only show up if somebody's interested in the topic of our video as well, which makes it even better. Of course, you could also advertise on the Google Display Network on websites or /web pages that are about the topic of what you're promoting as well. So that's not a distinctly unique feature, but it is unique from the standpoint that YouTube and the search bar there, people use the search bar like a search engine itself. And search engine advertising generally works better than display advertising, which would be display advertising's non-search advertising essentially, because there's intent, there's buyer's intent. That's why Google search ads and Bing search ads work so well. They're there to get the information, and now you're just at the right place at the right time to give it to them. On YouTube's actually the second biggest search engine in the world. So through having the search ads here, or search results box checked within that settings in the networks menu, you can have additional search ads essentially working for you in the format of a video ad, but still, it could be a really valuable tool for you. So anyway, going back to what I said before, and just to polish this off, I would recommend only doing video ads on YouTube videos first, get that working, then set up a new campaign for just the search results option. Try that. And of course, you have to do the YouTube videos and the search results option still, because there's no way to just do search results itself, but at least then you can cross compare, okay, here's my results with that option checked and without, and then you can decide if you want to do it or not that way. This is how you mathematically come up with ways to ratchet up profit in your business using PPC ads. You try stuff, you compare it to what you had, some of it you don't do, a lot of it you don't do, and then you try different traffic streams. That way, comparing your numbers to your original traffic that you got. And so, it's stuff that you didn't think that would work a lot of times will. But once you got search results working, or the search results option, you tested that, then you could go after the option for display network. Possibly that will work as well. That's what I would be doing personally with my campaigns and trying to get into YouTube and just with video advertising through the Google Ads platform itself. All right. Beyond that, as far as the ads, bumper or unskippable ads are good for remarketing purposes only. People ask, should I do the bumper ads or whatever? And I say no, because they're 15 or second less ads. They're not skippable, so people are forced to see it, but there's no place to take people to after the ad. If you're going to make money, you got to be able to convince somebody, at least in a lot of markets where we're talking about direct response marketing, where we're trying to show an ad to somebody and get them to take action, buy something. Then the in-stream ads are what you need, because they have a link at the end of the video to go do it. Of course, on a bumper ad, they can see it and then go Google your product or service or company and then buy that way. But it's a lot harder to get someone to do that than to just see the ad and click the link at the end of the video, which Google provides on regular in-stream ads. That said, these bumper or unskippable ads are good for remarketing. When it comes to remarketing, i.e. advertising that you do online that shows up for a person after they've been to your site, at least been to your site before, I have mentioned many times on this channel, you want to do as much of that as stuff as you can, because remarketing works so well. You pay all this money, a lot of times 10, 20 bucks a click to get a person to your site from a Google search ad, and it costs a penny, literally a penny, to have somebody see an ad later on after they've left that site to close the deal, so to say. You can have the ad show up for them 50 or 100 times in a lot of markets and still have it pay off. And I always said I recommend spending 10 to 20% of your total ad budget just on remarketing, because there's a thing in marketing that's called frequency is more important than reach, and there's the power of sevens. You'll always make more money marketing to a smaller audience, but multiple times, than just show and spend all your marketing money only advertising to each person one time. This isn't to be debated. This is a well-known fact, and the marketing and advertising world, you can go look at the Power of Sevens yourself. But respectively with that, you want to have, as I mentioned in other videos I go through, you want to have different ads, not just one ad that constantly just pounding people over the head, telling people to buy now, buy now, buy now. And that's all your ad says is, are you ready to buy now? No? Okay, how about now? Are you ready to buy now? Okay, no, how about now? How about now? And this is what the average person does, which really pisses people off and why they hate advertising so much and marketers so much. Whereas you can have different ads that rotate out for a user about how you're better, your testimonial, another testimonial, your Google reviews, your Trustpilot reviews, and on and on. You can keep going. For our own firm, have 20 different plus ads with different angles that I would bring up in conversations with a client as to why they would want to choose our firm. And so they're being educated while they're seeing our ads, and the more they see our ads, the more they're going to trust our company, because we're going to seem like a authoritative brand at that point. And why we also spend 10 to 20% of our ad budget, our marketing budget, on these remarketing ads. So you'll get more by having more ad variety, because basically it'll reduce what they call banner blindness, and it also just make the user absorb more about why they should buy from you. So they'll remember, not only just through repetition, remember you first as they later on go and the day comes where they have to make a decision. Today they think of you first, but also they also remember all the stuff why they should pick you also as well, tied to that. But on top of that, you'll generally speaking get more out of that remarketing boost you can get for your company if you advertise on different platforms, and what would be omni-channel marketing. PPC itself could be called a channel, and if you can do remarketing through the direct mail or through the mail system, you can do that, and it'll do better than just PPC remarketing. And you should do that stuff too. But as it pertains to PPC, you want to do the PPC on as many platforms as you can do, because having your remarketing running on YouTube and on Google Display Network will work better than just having one or the other. And it's not 1 + 1 = 2, it's like 1 + 1 = 3. The more platforms they see your remarketing ads on, the more they'll even the before think you're an authority. And so you do Twitter, and you do TikTok, and you do LinkedIn remarketing, and you do Taboola remarketing, and you do Google remarketing, you are Display Network remarketing, and on and on and on and on. And each platform the user sees you on, you'll get that much more of a likelihood that person will buy from you versus the competition, if they're going to buy, basically. Why? And mainly because the competition doesn't do this. So more ads help, and then more platforms help. Do these bumper ads, it's another way to get yourself out there. And so with that, I would do your bumper ads with your in-stream ads as far as remarketing. The bumper ads will just get one more point of contact with the user with the remarketing, and with your key audience that already knows you, and you're just going to get to close the sale on those people. You'll certainly make more money than you're making now with the same exact ad spend, devoting some part of your budget to get yourself on, have more of these ad types for people who've been to your site already. This is not to be disputed. Of course, you're not going to see the value of somebody who sees a bumper ad and then buys, because you can't track it, but you'll see it in your overall numbers before and after you turn this stuff on. So you basically don't have bumper remarketing. You turn the bumper remarketing on. You watch what your sales do over the next 90 days. You compare that to your previous year's results for that same type of the year, or same part of the year, and then you'll know it's working. That's generally how you know that remarketing works in general, let alone the bumper ads where they can't even click through to do anything. A lot of people, as a final thing about remarketing, is they think that if people don't click through my remarketing ad and buy right then, it doesn't work. And that's baloney, that's BS. People that see the ad while they're reading an article, or while they're just researching stuff on YouTube unrelated to the topic of buying your product or service, they see the information, they internalize it, so that when they are ready to buy, maybe they waiting to get paid or whatever. You come up in the user's mind first. And so very rarely is somebody going to be reading an article or watching a funny YouTube video, see your ad and be like, oh, I got to buy it now. That's not how the business works. So you got to be able to look at how my overall sales are affected from everybody that comes in before and after we do the remarketing to see the value in it, because most of the value, 80-90% of the value, is just from the effect or basically the amount of people that have come to your site for the first time that will buy once you've added remarketing. So if 2% of your people that you've gotten to your site through, let's say, your search ads bought from you, you start to do really good remarketing, it might be 3 or 4% buy from you. And those are very typical numbers. Typically, before and after remarketing, you're going to double the productivity of any advertising you did to drive new traffic into your business, assuming you weren't doing any in the first place. So just as a side note about remarketing. The last thing I'll say on this video also about these ads, and I guess I'll get into the targeting a little bit as well, but skippable in-stream ads, those are the ones that make the most money. Therefore, you want to focus on those because there's some place to click to at the end of the video, and they give you enough time to really explain a concept well. I do 30 to 90 second videos in length, and those are perfect for making money from new prospects with and from. So, and I have videos about how, the scripting to use on a skippable in-stream video of 30 to 90 seconds in length. And it basically is just like if you were selling a back scratcher, and with that, does your back itch? We have the world's best back scratcher. And this is the reason why it's better than all back scratchers on the market. You do something very straightforward and clear, and then you give them away to buy that back scratcher. That's pretty much the default way that you do things. I got more details on it on you can go to the YouTube category, or video advertising category of my channel, and find the video I have about writing and using a certain script for your videos, but you certainly want structure to your video. If you use my script, it basically should be able to for sure make you money. As long as the targeting is correct, which the targeting is the even bigger thing, because the video, you can pretty much use that formula every time and that will work. But if your targeting sucks, you'll never make money. With the targeting, which is the actual last thing I'll talk about, you want to target wherever you can on YouTube that has the highest percentage of total of buyers in that audience. You don't target the videos that look popular or whatever. You target what videos has the highest percentage or highest percentage out of 100% of buyers watching that video. Why? Because people who are not buyers who see your ad affect your ROI of your campaign, as people who click the skip button will actually, the more people who click the skip button will raise the cost per view and cost per click to your website from that video, the more that it happens. So you'll cut down on the people clicking skip, the higher proportion of real buyers watching the video. This is just if you wanted to sum up your targeting, this is exactly what you're trying to do. What videos or what channels have the highest percentage out of anywhere on the platform of buyers that I can find? And with that, you're generally starting out with, number one, places where you've gotten a review of your product or service. Have a video ad, a skippable in-stream ad show up while people are watching that to get people to go to your site. And to get extra credit on this, you make a video for each place that you're advertising to speak to that user directly. Hey, I know you're watching our review. I just wanted to let you know that we have a July special for people who watch our reviews. We want to give you an extra little 10% off to buy this month, but we won't have it next month. And you'll draw way more people to your website doing that. And then you can get into your competitors' channels/videos on their channel. You can target just a channel, or you can target an individual video on YouTube, which I've got a video that I made about 3 videos ago on this channel telling you how to do that, where if they're watching a video for your competitor's product, you have a video that shows up during that video, a skippable in-stream ad that says, why you want to buy that product. Our product is 3 times as fast or better for half the price. You should really consider our product instead. And then the reason why it's better and cheaper is because of go to our website. And you do that, and then you get into the reviews of your competitors on other channels. So somebody else has reviewed, other than themselves, reviewed that competitor's product or service. You have your ad show up there. And you're basically just siphoning off business from them directly to you. And then you can get into people who are looking for how to buy a product in your space, how to buy the best playground equipment. And if you're selling playground equipment, that's the next in line best profit or most profitable thing to do. And next after that is people, should I buy a playground equipment for my kids? That's kind of the next in line. And then it's how to build a playground equipment space for my kids, and then trying to get in front of those people. And so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. You start with with the reviews of your company. That has the highest percentage of people that's willing to buy your product out of anybody else on YouTube, where those people are at on that particular video. And you can grab those exact video links and you can target them within your video campaign, and that's all you can just start with that, make that work, and then go on to the second thing, and then go on to the third thing, and so forth. So this is how it's done. And each video can be a little bit different to get the most out of it. If it's working well, why wouldn't you want another 2 or 3 times as much sales from it, and in which you will get if you cater the video to what the user is experiencing. So, if the user is wondering how to build their own playground equipment, you could say, if you're considering buying, or if you're considering building your own playground equipment, it really, just to let you know, playground equipment really isn't that expensive. We have a cheap option we made for people that need a cheaper option, and you won't get the nice safety features a product like ours has. And then you tell them specifically why, based upon where that user is in the buying process or in general is, why they need to go to your website and buy, and you'll get 2 to 3 times as many sales as if, that person looking to build a playground equipment for their kids just see a random video for your playground equipment, as you can imagine. And so those are the main places you start with. Once you do that, you start to get into through what is called custom intent audiences. And I've got a video about that searchable on this channel, where you can go ahead and find all of the names of your competitors' company names and product names and create a custom intent audience for that, and then target your videos using that. In that, if somebody's been to your competitor's site in the last 30 days, your video will be able to show up for them regardless of what video they're watching on YouTube, but knowing that they've been to your competitor's site, and then with that, knowing that the likelihood that group of people is going to buy from you at a much higher rate than if you were targeting people who are just looking for, ideas for their kids, presents for their kids, or whatever. And you can start targeting people that way. You, of course, can set up custom intent audiences for people who've searched for your company name recently because maybe they got a referral. Respectively, we're searching you online, haven't came to your site yet, and so you can get people to come to your site for the first time with a custom intent audience with keywords inside that custom intent audience that has your brand name, product names, and so forth on it. Generally, I would do that again before the competitor custom intent audience, because it's going to work even better. You can get into, people who have searched for how do I, buy how to buy the best life insurance policy, or how to get the best life insurance policy. And those people that are looking to how to buy your product the best way they can and how to get the best, deal, so to say, you can put those keywords, how do I buy, insert the name of your product, and put those exact type of keywords in a custom intent audience, and then go after people who searched for that recently, i.e. they're going to buy, they just don't know who to buy from yet. So you can see how this keeps going. You can target people that are, looking at your stuff. You can target people looking at your competitor stuff. You can look at people who are looking to buy from somebody who haven't gotten to the stage of looking at your competitors or your stuff yet, but right close and right before they are. Then you can go a little bit wider, people that are looking to see if they should buy your product. They're kind of on the fence if they need to buy it or not, and then so forth. I thought I would throw that extra information in about the targeting, since that's the thing that most people get screwed up. It's the most difficult thing to do. Of course, there's a lot of shitty video ads out there and people screw that up a lot. But if you're a halfway reasonable marketer, you could figure out a video that isn't terrible. But the targeting stuff is not something that comes natural to people unless they've, like me, and set up hundreds of these campaigns now for clients and run an ad agency. And also just have time to think about this from every angle and every inch of the way through it. What can be done? What about this? What about this? What about this? And then that's what I do for you on this channel, is I distill all this testing stuff that we do on our video campaigns and any other campaigns we run, and we give it to you so you don't have to go through all the BS we do to find out what works. So, and with that said, I'll wrap up the video. And if you want to see other videos that go over stuff that is actively working at our PPC agency, you should subscribe to this channel, and you will get those videos every week that shows you the most greatest and best new PPC strategies that can make you money and has actionable advice, as this video did on this channel on it. If you liked the video, I would appreciate it if you would give it a thumbs up, and it would help, of course, us get the video in front of other people like you that would appreciate what we have done on this video for people trying to run video campaigns. And thank you very much for doing that. If you have any questions about this strategy, about using the in-stream or the bumper ads or anything to do with what I said here about the video campaign you want to set up, maybe what I said here didn't cover everything, leave me a comment below about your video campaign. I will answer any questions you have about it. Within a couple days' time, I personally answer everybody's questions about their PPC and stuff that they think I should have covered on the video and didn't. I also, by the way, before I go, wanted to let you know that we have a blog at guaranteedppc.com/blog with step-by-step instructions on how to build PPC campaigns, the way that I build them here for our clients, and which we have to guarantee the results so you know that they're working very well. So if you're going to start somewhere, that's a good place to start. If you want to find that information, you can find it there at guaranteedppc.com/blog. And that might be able to help you out a little bit on your journey of making millions of dollars with PPC for yourself and for your company as well. So with that said, I'll wrap everything up with that. And I hope to see you on my next one. See you later.